Let's go.
Push the button. Hello, 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 and welcome to another One Line of Code. I am One Lion, and this is a software development stream where we do .NET, Blazor web development, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I hope you are all well. I just got back downstairs from refilling my water bottle. Do, 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 do. All right. It is Monday. I hope you are all doing well. I see Big Gamey. Thank you so much for the lurk and work. I hope that I am good company for you. And hello, DC Aggie, and hello, Dukasoft. Excuse me. Where can I find this thing? I am looking for a thing that I can't find because it doesn't exist. You like my underpants? They look like tree boxers. Triboxers. Troxers. Let's find a new image, at least for the little t-shirt one. Not that one. This one. This one's going to be hard to find today. I don't have anything ready ever. It's getting to that point where it's getting to be super duper busy again. And I'm going to need to figure out how to balance this time a little better. Rewind. Someone just walked by my cam. Oh, somebody was in their underwear. I'm trying to look for this. This. I like that one a lot. I'm not going to use it. You know what? Let's just make a new one. We're going to make a neon lion outline graphic. Okay. I'll catch up on chat in a couple seconds. With that, give me 4 of those. Use the digital offset model. Okay, squish down just a little bit. Hello, Thindle. He spelled it the right way, too. take a glance at the clip too. No, you're supposed to be landscape, not portrait. Ooh. Ah. This computer, staging, text to image. Let's go with this one. I like that one a lot. Okay, so that's going to be our picture for today. I like it. I like it a lot. Kitty outside. Kitty outside, he says. Okay, let me take a glance at this clip. There was somebody that walked by in their underwear. And then I jump up and I say, all right. So that's just rude of people. Bet you they did that on purpose. I don't like stuff like that. I don't like people. Anyway, catching up on chat. So thank goodness you guys aren't people. You guys are wonderful persons, individuals, and amazing, amazing, wonderful persons. So DC Aggie says, small brag, I finally have two-way model binding working in my web forms app. Web forms. At least with simple properties at the top of my object. Holy cow. Then it says, yeah. I growled it because lion. No, wait, you're not a pirate. You're a lion. Would roar fit better? No. No, that works. And hello, Roy Lisi. Konnichiwa. And who was that? That was my dad. Naked. No, it was not my dad. There he goes again. It's so annoying. There was a butt that walked by in the background. It's better from the front. And then a kitty outside somewhere. I don't see the kitty, but that's fine. Keeps going. I'm the woke mob. They talk about me on the news all the time. What? And Thindle's like, model finding with web forms. What? Thindle says, now I feel like I've missed like everything. Would you stop blocking, boy? That's just rude. You know that you're using this video as a whatchamacallit, and you're purposefully doing this mess. So annoying. Let's get to the desktop. Yes. As you can see, we're letting the cats do the coding for the day. I will not be doing any kind of coding. Let's see. Display screen, device not connected or not available. Great. We do need to go back to this screen so that I can figure out which device it's looking at. The right one. Okay, we're back. Don't let that random man show off his thick thighs. Okay, did I miss any other chats on the way here? I don't think I did. Cool. Well, I see no docs. So this, if you didn't know, is no docs, which is created by Thindle as a Visual Studio extension for helping you to hide values inside of your JSON and XML files. That way, if you happen to be streaming or presenting and you need to go into your secrets, manage user secrets, for example, then all of your values will be masked, is the word I'm looking for. Hello, Napalm. And if it can't parse the file, then it will just mask the entire file. But what's happening here is I have comments on all of these lines, so it will also mask out commented lines or commented parts of lines. So let's say that I have some key colon some val. Then you can see that the part that is not commented out still works, and then the rest of it is masked. That's such a hard word to remember right now. Okay, anyway, enough about that. Let's finish off the last little bit of this functionality, which was to make sure that the transaction history grid gets updated when we do our edits. We also have the issue where it is getting updated, but the account name is disappearing. And we were going to debug the WASM version because it works in Blazor server, but Blazor WASM seems to be having an issue with that. And I suspect it has to do with our JSON response, which doesn't really make sense because we're only getting an ID as our response for the record being modified. And then we're patching the existing record, and then we're notifying everyone that's supposed to be notified about it. So let's put this here. And then the other to-do that I put here is we're currently updating the account name on an edit, but we are not updating the payee or the target. Well, I guess we are doing target account. Man, what is up with you, throat? So we're doing target account with transfers, the account name with deposits, and then the account name with payments. But we also need payee name to be updated. But that also means that we need the payees list. So I'm going to need a better way to provide the payees list to this method so that we can do it in a more generic way. I'll figure that out in a second. Will I though? Okay. I will because I want to catch up on chat. So Thendel is saying, oh, I got a message from a programmer friend I haven't talked to in ages with a screenshot from their project file with a NuGet reference highlighted and the text, you, question mark? It was one of my packages, checked in the NuGet repo, and it had like 5,000 downloads. 5,000 downloads is a lot. Well, mine has -2. Wait, what? And then I had no idea. Napalm showed up and says hello to everyone. MojoBot is here. Hello, MojoBot. Best non-bot bot Discord bot. Got Duende's identity server working. Next step, integrating OIDC with K3's cluster. I don't know what K3's is. For sign in to the to Kubernetes API. I think you told us what that was last time, but I already forgot because I don't really work with containers. It's a lightweight Kubernetes. Okay. And DC Aggie says, hopefully there isn't a plague upon your house. Partner tested positive for COVID last night. No, that happened to my parents a couple weeks ago. They are recovering and doing well, but doing well is relative to getting COVID, where you don't really ever fully recover from it. But yeah, I needed to do some research on identity server to find out what licensing the company that I used to work for would need to get for the usage of identity server, to find out if they need to pay for it or not. They were asking me about that. K3 is for edge compute, basically. K8 is for edge. Wait, those look the same. So K3s doesn't require 6 orchestrators, 2 backup managers, a 16 terabyte SAN, duplicated, of course, and 256 nodes, question mark? Question man. Okay. I need a way to get the payees passed in. I'm going to do it naively for now just to make sure that it works. And the naive approach is going to be, let's just make an IEnumerable of payee lookup view model. What's most likely going to happen is I am going to use just the I lookup item view model. And just have a param array of I lookup item view model. Or, no, I wouldn't even need a param array. I'm just going to do an IEnumerable of I lookup item view model. Then when I'm doing this, I'll do of type count lookup view model. And then this one would be, you know what, I'm just going to do that now. Of type payee lookup view model. The main issue with this is that I'm going to forget that this specific method will need both the account and payee lookup view models. Yeah. This is essentially what it's going to be. Aggie says, I always read interfaces as if you're implementing classes are speaking in broken English. You need disposable? I disposable. I look up item view model. I like my hair. Wait, no, that one works. That's proper English. I unavailable. I baboon. That's not a valid. That is not a well-named. Yes, iCoffee. A well-named interface, though, Thindle. mRange wants me to go to NDC Oslo. I don't have the time or the $3,000 in loose change. Nice. Okay, so there was some conversation with Napalm. Findle said on the less. Whoa, I missed a whole bunch of text from up there. Findle said, I'm not bitter. I'm just overall confused about Kubernetes. Napalm says, nothing like that. I have 4 nodes, 1 master, 3 worker, 1 NFS SSD drive, and a Lego dude that sits on top of the servers with a plastic laptop. That's key. Absolutely. Thindle then said, on the less, I don't know what that face is supposed to be. Compute side of things. I don't know. Awesome with identity server. Hope OIDC won't be too much work. It's really easy with identity server as far as getting just authentication and authorization set up. But when you're doing stuff like custom roles, it gets a little harder, not too much harder, but a little harder. But then you start getting into using the other thing that I can't think of right now. Anyway, write something up when you're done, question mark. Dugasoff says, Lego is a must. DC Aggie told me about the interfaces. Then Napalm said to Thindle, maybe, will probably depend on how overwhelmed I am at the new gig. Then Thindle said, yeah, you're starting pretty soon, right? And Napalm said on May 8th for you international folk, because 8/5 is how it would be in Europe. You should add a bit and make it I am a disposable. Yep. Yep. Night. Will not. It's a confused guy, I think. I am root. Like raising an eyebrow because you're seeing something weird. It's like popping an eye out. That's what that is. Napalm says it's kind of tricky to set up Kubernetes to use that instead of standard kubectl tokens, kubectl. That is like, I am not going to fight you on that, DC Aggie. Well, I mean, as far as the separator, the delimiter for the parts of the date, I could care less. Couldn't care less. What you use, you can use dot, dash, underscore. I don't care. But year, month, day makes 4-digit year, 2-digit month, 2-digit day makes most sense to me as well. Everyone should adopt it as the format everywhere. And Nick is here. Cube control is how I say it usually. But it says cubicle. Kidding. Hi, Nick. Cube cuddle, as I like to say. Okay. So we're going to update this method to take iLookup item view model. I run the risk of in the future not knowing what I need to supply to this list, but I'm gonna do it this way anyway. So to do that, let us do it in the transfer. And then we'll do var accounts equals lookups of type account lookup view model. And then acceptance. And then this will pick up the rest for me. And I'm going to do the same in transfer and deposit. How much did I copy? Cool. And finally, in the interface, yep. Okay, so you should now be implementing the interface correctly. And where is the thing that calls you? That was in our helper method. In our helper method that calls you. So if we are a payment, then the thing, which would be in payment, so that's fine. We don't have to worry too much about that. So if we are a payment, then we need to send both the accounts list as well as the payees list, which we have both of those there. So to do that, I am going to make a new variable. Lookups, and that's going to be accounts question mark new. And edit payments is going to be, nope. Then lookups is going to be lookups. I guess I can still write this in one line because I am one line. Dot union payees new. What are you angry at? List does not contain a definition for union? as enumerable then. Now that doesn't make sense. Oh, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. No, this is accounts union payees. And so I need both of these to be I transaction. I look up item view model. And the way that I'm going to do that is of type I lookup item view model. Are you making PayPal? No. I'm making a helper app for myself, essentially. So this app is intended to be a way for me to track my finances manually. So I'm not trying to remake Mint. I'm not trying to remake any current financial application that's out there. This is just a small little full stack web development project for Blazor. Not even web development. I keep saying web development, but full stack development project using Blazor, using .NET 7. Did I update that? Does this thing say we're using .NET 7 yet? I hope everything says that we're using .NET 7, at least for now. I don't want to do that, Thindle, because if accounts is null and payees is not null, then it wouldn't also add just the payees. So I want to make sure that it doesn't matter which one of them is not null. Neither of them should be null by this point, but this is just, null checking. Okay, so then at this point we have lookups. And lookups is what we're sending so that we can update both the payee name as well as the account name. And so now we just need to debug the one issue that we're having where when we edit a transaction and we change the account, the transaction history grid is emptying out the account name. And so, oh, I forgot that I need to do this in more than just these two places. Where is my modal? Okay, so you also need pays. Pay. Pay. You there. Pay. Payees. And pasta. Awesome. Good. Let's just stop the app. That'll be easier. Public IPayee get payee by ID, return DC Aggie. Always pay DC Aggie. Always. Okay, Tendo, thank you so much for the lurk and for hanging out with us. Yeah, as Dukasoft posted, we have a GitHub repository for this project, so you can see what it's all about. many things to look at. Okay, so this is what the project currently looks like. You can tell it's loading still because we don't have the login form. Now it's done loading. So the whole point behind that is while the app is still loading, you can interact with any of the public-facing static content. So my intent is essentially to replace that behavior with the Blazor United so that we can have the app running immediately when you get to that homepage and there's only static content, and then have this thing always show up still. And then the actual places that has our Blazor would be our primary app once you get logged in. So that'll be really fun to do. Can't wait. Okay, so let's see if we can reproduce the behavior. I'm just going to let it run through, even though we'll hit the breakpoint once it's done. I'm editing a transaction and I'm trying to change the account that it is going to. So I'm updating this deposit to go to my savings. And if I update, just let it go through, you can see that this empties out. When we were doing this with Blazor Server, it just changed so that it updated the word to show my savings. So let's figure out why this is not actually updating correctly. If we look at the transaction that we are sending, that we just now updated the account names for, the account name did come back blank during this update account name. Why? Oh, this is so much harder to debug. And it's because our underscore accounts list is empty. In Blazor WebAssembly. Why is that? Let's say we go somewhere else. Actually, no. We're going to stay here and edit transaction modal because that is already dismissed, and so you don't see it anymore. So we should hit that. Oh, wow. We didn't. Interesting. We aren't hitting the oninitialized async. Okay, well, let's go back home. And, oh, duh, because the modal appears on the page as soon as each row shows up. So each row inside of this transaction history grid will do this on initialize. Oh, and it is entirely possible that it's still initializing by the time it gets here. And it has not fully initialized. So each row in that transaction history grid will not have the lookup items because we're still in the process of initializing. So here's the logic. If we are initializing, then don't do anything. So what I probably want to do is while not initialized and initializing, await task delay 200 milliseconds. And that way, anyone that is asking for lookup list to initialize, if multiple things are saying lookup list initialize at the same time, only the first one will get through to here, provided, you know, everything works the way it's supposed to and it doesn't actually await another process until we get down here to await. This is kind of dangerous because initialized and underscore initializing are volatile at this point, because multiple things can try to read them at the same time. And they may both read initialized and initializing at the same time, and both processes get to here and try to modify these lookup lists at the same time. We're just gonna ignore that as if it's not a real possibility, even though it is. And there, we now waited until lookup list state initialized. And if we step over this, then we have accounts in this lookup list. And we also get errors. Why do we get errors now? The parameter view instance can no longer be read because it has expired. So this set parameters here that we did before, and we're following best practice of making sure to call set parameters immediately. This parameters.tryGetValue is timing out. Dang it. At least that's my guess. That's what this specific error is about. It's what makes the most sense. The parameter view instance can no longer be viewed in edit transaction modal line 48. Yeah, right here. So this await here is allowing on initialize async to do this await lookup list state dot initialize async. And so what I kind of want to do then is move this, give me the list of lookup items later in the life cycle. Because the life cycle will go set parameters, and then when this gets awaited, it goes initialize async. And when this gets awaited, it allows the page to render. If this happens to finish, then maybe we could get to here, but chances are it's still waiting on this. And so if I don't have anything on initialize, and I move it into on after render async, that should allow this to finish. And the reason that it's okay to do that with this one is that we aren't using the lookup lists for anything until we show the edit window. And the edit window will only be able to pop up after we've rendered once, but that means that this should have had time to run. So many should-haves. So many assumptions. What are you gonna do? No errors. But if you try accessing it, it did not time out. And we got no errors. Awesome. Okay. So now we should have our lookup lists populated by the time we get to this update, which means that we have lookup list items. Why are there only 4 items? Oh, there's 3, 3 of the first one and 4 of the second one. This is so hard to read in Blazor Wasm. But the overall collection itself should be the combination of both accounts and payees. And if we look at our edit transaction now, we should see an updated account name to my savings and an update no payee because this isn't a payment type. So it ignored payees completely. I'm getting excited. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that updated. And if we change it back to my checking, and let's keep an eye on the actual value up here too, to see this number go down and this number go positive. And it happened, and this changed to my checking. Okay, so now let's do a payment, which is this one where we're paying my local grocer. We aren't going to mess with the one where we're paying Dukabot, because that one is like, you are not going to change anything about this ever. I'm like, okay. Instead, we're going to say that we paid English store, and we also changed this to pay from our checking. And so now this is my checking English store, and I'm assuming that these values also changed up here. So awesome. Just to verify, our credit charge is at 80.54. And if we change you to be my credit charge, change you to something else like Vindy's, that is an expensive Vindy's meal. Then yes, this number did go up and everything updated here. It's like, I didn't mean to pick Vindy's. I actually meant to pick my local grocer. This was my groceries. And there we go. And everything is working the way it's supposed to now. Question is, did I break any of the other application types? Does it still work well with Blazor Server? Or do we have other bugs that I introduced because of moving things around in the lifecycle? And with the way that Blazor Server renders everything, it might happen in a different order than Blazor WebAssembly with its HTTP request that can be done asynchronously. Set as startup project. It won't even build. Oh, because I accidentally put a 6. If only we had tests to check that. Actually, you know what? I wouldn't even know where to begin writing tests that would make sure that both the WASM version and Blazor server. I think I would need to have 2 different test classes, or the way to somehow pick between using a fake HTTP client versus a fake service request to the server. I don't know. I honestly don't know how to test that. Okay, it opened over here for us for some reason. We're going to change our deposit, and that still worked just fine. We have some massive positive numbers, some massive negative number. I want to change it back because I don't want to say negative numbers. And then we change you to be paid from checking, Vindy's meal. That updated. This number went down. I'm assuming this number went down by the same amount. 2624.7. Change you back to my cheddar charge. Change you back to my grocer. Yeah, so this number did go back up. I'm assuming by 124.68. But I think that we are completely done with this. I can add line items to an existing the thingy here, and it changes the value. And it changes the value here most likely. So there you go. I think we're completely done with the edit transaction functionality. Let's get rid of this one. That one's gone. It's no longer affecting my credit charge. I didn't eat Vindies. I did not eat Vindies. So, you know what that means? Project over, stream's over. Bye, everyone. Just kidding. I wouldn't do that to you. DCA. I wouldn't do that to you. Okay. That means that we do our commit. Dukesoft is doing the closing closing bot. Fixed UI update issues when editing transactions. Wait, did we also implement the adding the ability to change the line items? No UI changes here because we did our check-in for that already. Cool. So this is the only thing we did with this commit. Let us commit and push, and we'll create a pull request. And then we'll move on to hopefully the last feature that we need for this, which is the ability to maintain our lookup lists. Although that should probably be split into two features. One, which is the ability to add new accounts and add and delete accounts. And then the other one to maintain the rest of the list. So payees, line item types, deposit reasons. Those might be the only three. Okie dokie. Implement, edit, delete transaction items. Completes item. How do I write these? So that they automatically close my issues and associate them with them. Closed. Where's the pull request? Here you are. Fixes. Yeah, this is a feature though. It's not a bug. I manually added it for the feature. Completes number 13 adds ability to edit existing transaction, edit and delete. Mark with a purge date, I think. Existing transactions. Okay, you guys are my reviewer, so I'm adding you, assigning it to myself so that I get update. Well, I would get updates anyway. Label is an enhancement that is being completed. Project is this one, the only project we have. We don't have any milestones set. Okay, so hopefully this will automatically associate, yep, with the work item, and it did. We're waiting for our gate to complete. If we wanted to see it, we can go into details. But we have a CI pipeline in place thanks to Thindle. He gave us a YAML file that we were able to adapt to our project. And if we had tests, those would be run here too, but right now it's just making sure that it builds. That's pretty much the only test. Will it build? And if you remember, I also removed the Maui project from the build. It is absolutely important to test. And if I could get my tests to run again, which we'll do, we'll make sure to do that. But if I can get my tests to pass again, we'll turn that on in the pipeline so that we can see that happen as well as one of the gate checks. I'm looking for run tests because I don't think I do have my test explorer. So I did write tests. They just, and I had them passing some time ago, but I had not been keeping up with them to make sure that they continued passing as I added logic, and so you can see them all fail. But we will fix those. Te prometo. Almost there. I need to clear this thing. It's been bothering me. Like my body lies over the ocean. No, my messaging thingies, I've turned off sound for all of them so that I don't hear the dings and the annoying sounds, the ones that just make my attention go. But the badges themselves are still there and they're still blah. Just as loud as the dings. This is one of the main reasons that I have my taskbar hidden or auto hide. It says completed. Means that we should be able to merge now. I middle mouse clicked. You were supposed to open up in a separate window. You should be updated by now. I had to manually refresh because I came back to the page. How dare. Okay, so you guys reviewed my code, right? You looked at all 74 files that I touched. You cloned the branch or you checked out the branch on your local machine, made sure it built, made sure it ran. You don't have any issues with it? Good. Good. Thank you. Thank you so much for your review. Oops. Oh, wait, that's where I wanted to go. Thanks, stop. Code review requested. I appreciate you. Thank you. Merged. And because we are good citizens, we make sure that our completed branches, after we've made sure that they merged into master just fine, we make sure to clean up our feature branch so that it's not just sitting out there like these random ones. You guys are fantastic. Okay, we're going to switch over to main. We're going to pull in current main changes. Was I still in debug mode? Is that what just happened? I hate it when I do that. So that's especially bad when I'm running my work product and I'm changing branches because of the way it works. Some of the files get locked as I'm changing branches, and so it treats them as changed files when I'm moving from my dev branch over to main. And it's like, wait, no, I didn't change those files. What? Good news. Everything should be working the same. We'll just give it a quick test run, make sure I didn't break anything. Then we're going to move on to the issue that I mentioned, which is our lookup lists, which again, might need to be two different issues. One for the accounts, because like when you set up an account in the system, you're saying, I want to track transactions that happen to this account. And an account is not really a lookup list, even though I'm treating it like a lookup list. But it's a thing that has a whole bunch of extra information about it. And it's treated differently than a lookup, kind of. Actually, it's not really. I'm going to go back and forth on that a few times before I settle. Okay. We should be built. We're not built yet. Just kidding. We should not be built yet. But I may as well get into the WASM folder so we can run DynaWatch. Oh, right. When I right click and do rebuild in Visual Studio, it's also going to rebuild the Maui project. I keep forgetting that. That's what makes it take extra long. So as you can see, I went through and created both a Maui version and a WPF version. And Blazor server and Blazor WebAssembly hosted. And okay, things don't seem to be breaking yet. We have our transactions. Let's try entering a new one that I paid for on 3/31, 2023. So I don't have very many payees. I really need the ability to add payees, man. All right, all right, all right. Oh man, so many thoughts that just came in to my head on how I can make it really awesome. Sure. Whatever, fingers. Sales tax. I wonder. Yeah, we're gonna do UI stuff after this. I keep thinking about improving the UI, the user experience while I'm doing this, but again, I'm focused on functionality. Sure. You and these 2s and 3s. You're so lazy. So like right there when I clicked add, I wanted the focus to go back to the line item type. To be delivery. 6. You and these 2s and 3s. Pick a different number. Tip 20. Wow. That's a tip. Go on, dude. You I can be together when UX stops harassing me. Still reading things in the bad English way, are we? Hey, hey, I pushed submit. Excuse me. Oh, error messages aren't showing. So it, 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 it. I got words. Listen to these words go. It should have told me. Oh, it won't even get that far because it's on client side too. So I do model validation on both client and server, but the model validation here is that I don't have an account selected and it didn't submit the transaction. It didn't even do the HTTP request to submit it because I don't have an account selected. But now that we had an account selected, it did the transaction. And because a new row showed up, it also did the lookup lists request for any new lookup items that may have been added during that process. So, for example, if I added a new payee and then I was paying that new payee, then I probably wouldn't have gotten a payee name populated here. But because I do this lookup again, then I make sure to have that lookup name. How do you do model validation? No rabbit holes intended. No, absolutely. My one sentence answer is I am using the Fluent validation package, which does also use data annotations, but it also uses that Fluent model validator slash abstract validator syntax so you can have more robust validation rules. Rules is the word I'm looking for. So, for example, a payment must have at least one line item. There isn't an easy way to do that with just data annotations. So I'm using Fluent Validator, as well as the Fluent Validator. It's just called Fluent Data Validation, Fluent Data Validator for the edit form. And that's what needs to be hooked up all the way so that we can see those model validation errors. But yay, we got it added. Let's try adding a pending date, not a pending date, a posted date. Let's try adding it for some time in the past, sometime before the transaction date. And we get a message saying posted date must be on or after the transaction date. So let's say 31. And now we have a posted date. Wait, I chose the wrong posted date. I meant to put 0401. And we can do that. Awesome. So no issues there. Oh man, I was supposed to be watching this too. Um, yeah, good. So we see that it went back to a pending balance, which shows up in our account summary like so. We have here's the current balance reflected, here's the pending amount, and then here's the adjusted balance taking into consideration the pending amount. It is wrong. You need to use year, month, day. I know. I know. But the good news about this is we are using internationalization. So the date will be in whatever format your locale uses. Oh, yeah. And the other thing is when you delete a pending date, it keeps the most recent one deleted in memory. So if you push the button again, then you get it pre-populated and you don't have to re-enter it. Yeah, helpful stuff, man. Again, I can do functionality all day. Helpful functionality. Ask me to do some UI stuff. Blech. DC Aggie is celebrating Dukasoft for that comment. Okay, let's see if we can edit this transaction so that we have a different delivery fee. And if we do that, then we will see this number change. Something that I might need to do is disable the update button if there is a current item being edited. There's a current line item being edited, because I could push update now and it won't take that edit because I didn't commit the edit to the record.
Make it so.
Make it so. Yes, Jean-Luc. Okay, so that changed this value. We update, and that is the new reflected value. Spamtastic. Now let's change some who we're paying, where we're paying from. My checking, English store. Still want to pay for my Jetta charge though. And English store is a general goods store. It is not a grocery store. So I can't pay that much for groceries or for general goods. That's just too much. So that worked for a payment. How about a deposit? And again, we get the negative number up there. Savings account goes up. If only we had automated tests to do this. And then it swapped. And the final one is a transfer from checking to savings. Let's do the opposite. Savings to checking. Which is probably more accurate of what I normally do. That's a lie. That's a big lie. I usually, if I have any excess checking, then I just dump it into savings. Ooh, gotta sneeze. Might be another one. I usually sneeze in twos, but lately I've only been sneezing once. Thank you, Dukasoft. Excess checking, how nice would that be? I mean, it isn't often, but on occasion. Okay, so all of the functionality is there that we set up. I didn't actually try adding a new one of each type. So here's a deposit on the 15th of April. Let's say that that's payday. And I got paid 32.89. That's about right. That looks about right. Anyone see anything wrong with that? No, me either. All right, making sure that we can't set the posted date before the transaction date for a deposit. Same thing. And finally, a transfer on 4/16 in the amount of 32.89 from checking to savings. Awesome. And then we edit you and we, I don't know. We said that I actually took 132 because I could. And so now you can see that I have a pending transaction from my checking account of negative 132.89 and a positive pending transaction for my savings account of 132.89 until such a time as I input a process date, a posted date. Then it's no longer pending. Yes. Okay, so functionality tested. Let's move on to the next issue because I like getting things done. I think I already created a branch for this one, number 29. And I was working in it. No. No, I don't even know what these branches are. You know what? They're going away. They're just going away. I don't know why number 18 is still alive. It really shouldn't be. Number 20 was a local branch. I don't know why it was there. So, new branch. 23, I think we said. 29. Funny how fast I forget that. And this is going to be maintain drop-down lists. Drop to lookup list maintenance. Add lookup list maintenance functionality. Okay, so like any good neighbor, we are there. What? We are creating a branch to work on our next feature. And that branch is for issue number 29, in which we are going to create the UI for maintaining our lookup lists, as well as the account, add a new account UI. And maybe even retire old accounts. I don't really know what that's called. Closing out accounts, I guess. Because there are special things that should happen when you close out an account. One, the balance should be 0. Unless you're just saying, I don't want to track it anymore. In which case, you could just say, I don't want to track it anymore. And 2, we mark it as closed. And so maybe we're going to need a new field in the account table. Oh man, that sneeze. Sneezes always make me extra super duper dizzy. So instead of having a deleted, man. So because this inherits from lookup item base, which gets deleted for free, I was thinking of using a new field called close date. So the date that the account was actually closed, but that could also be a transaction type. Oh. Like, would we want to put that date with the account record, or would we want to put a new transaction for that? And Thindle's back. We missed you, Thindle. Are you streaming tomorrow? As per usual? Is it a schedule now? As per usual. DC Aggie says, is drag and drop the next project after this? Could be an awesome puzzle game. Maybe use dragon eggs and cute little dragon slayers that try to mess you up. That's already out there. It's called Puzzle and Dragon? Dragon and Puzzle, I think. I used to play it a lot. I love match threes. Puzzle and Dragon is what it's called. I mean, if you want to see the drag and drop component, then yeah, we can make a slider puzzle using the drag and drop component. And thank you so much for the follow, Duartium. Sorry. My Latin is a little rusty. We need to think of something else then. Just work backwards from the awesome name. Well, I mean, I already have a game that I want to make, which is an alchemy clone. And I've already started making it, and I want to do it in. We've already started work on it in Blazor. Alchemy. Our defense. But I've got so many projects as to know. Yeah, the alchemy clone game was the one that I was just playing around with during community days when I am not really able to focus on the code anyway. And we're just having fun. So I might just keep that up. But we'll do a for real project. Like maybe the next step in this is to figure out how do we like I definitely want to do tests because I really need to force myself to get into that. But how do we deploy this? Where can we deploy this to? Because this, if you are able to to stomach all of the videos on the YouTubes, then you'll see this project from the very beginnings when we started designing it and deciding what it's going to be and what it's going to do, all the way through the point that we're at currently. We're going to do some UI improvements, some UX improvements, and then we're going to maybe do the publishing and deployment. Like right now, again, this is just something that I want to use locally on my computer in place of my Access database that I'm currently using for this. It would really be nice to have a web application that I can just log into on any of my computers and not have a shared access database on Dropbox at that. Dino says, I also want to try getting into public speaking, but that also requires time and effort. All my plans for the future starts with me waking up tomorrow with a sense of purpose and discipline that I've not shown for a single day in my life so far. You know what you can benefit from? You could benefit from taking all of that fuel that is that is being used on self-deprecation and use that fuel on waking up tomorrow with a sense of purpose and discipline. Like you have this vat of self-deprecating that's currently full with fuel. Just drain it. Put it into siphon it. Do the whole and then accidentally drink some of it and be like, oh, what did I just do? Wait, what? Don't do that last part. Bottle number 2. Yuck, bong water. Okay, where are we? We are going to create the UI. Actually, yeah, I'm deciding whether I want to put the close date with the account or make it a transaction. It makes sense to have starting balance be a transaction, but I don't think it makes sense to have close date be a transaction. Like there should be a closing event, which would most likely be a transfer of all of the money to another account. But there should not be a closed transaction type. So yeah, let's do that. So public date time nullable. I don't remember turning on my speech to text listening AI. Oh, pilot. Never had bong water, but it doesn't sound like a nice experience. Then again, I've never held a bong, so yeah, with X it's gonna get even better. It's gonna hit even harder. Like that one song. So we're adding a column to this table. And because we're modifying the database, let's go ahead and do a migration for it. Set the migrations project as my startup. I have it being targeted by my package manager, and I'm saying add migration, added close date to account. And that'll give us a new migration. Which shouldn't need anything special to it. We're just making it a date time close date. I mean, I really would like it to be a date only, but I've had so many struggles with the date only data type, especially when doing things like serializing. So I just go ahead and use a date time still for now. And Marcus says, given that Microsoft has created a product called Copilot, one would expect it to crash more often. Yeah, so I don't know why they. I mean, I do know why they took the name or reused that name, and it's like, eh. It would just be nice if you called it something different. Although I am extremely looking forward to it, by the way. I would love to see its capabilities in on my machine. See what it can do. But chances are you're going to have a Microsoft 365 account, and it's only going to be available to enterprise subscriptions. And okay, anyway, no errors in my migration, just some warnings that we should probably look at someday. Then we can update database to apply the migration to our existing database. And since it's a nullable column, there shouldn't be any errors with updating existing records, and there were none. And now we can say added closed date column to account table. Push that. Us minions will have to carry on writing code. But I mean the Copilot for Word and PowerPoint and Excel and whatever other Microsoft product. That is what they ended up calling that one, right? Yeah. Microsoft 365 Copilot. It's pretty cool. You essentially write a prompt like you would to ChatGPT, and then it generates the document for you, essentially. Like you need a PowerPoint presentation, create a 10 slide presentation from blah, 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 and here you go 10 slides. Here's an Excel workbook. And then you ask it questions. So I'm really, really going to like that. Mojo's like, no, we're promoting Microsoft products. I'm not promoting anything. I am showing this because it is current technology, and I show relevant current technology to our channel. Yeah, I use products all day. I use Microsoft products all day. I'm allowed. Give it a couple weeks and they'll probably rename it again. Yeah, it's been that name for the past, I think 2 months is when I heard about it. 2 months ago. I would like to write a groundbreaking thesis on quantum computing. Nobel Prize level, please. See, you've gotten better at prompting. Like, you're probably joking around, but that's a pretty good prompt. Except you wouldn't say, I would like to, you would tell it to write a groundbreaking thesis on quantum computing. All that after one stable diffusion session. Okay, we did the table update. Excuse me. What's next? Next is some UI. So because I'm focusing on doing the account stuff first, let's go ahead and create the add new account and edit existing account, which includes closing out an account. Let's set our startup project back to, oh, you know what? I didn't actually look at the Maui project to make sure that that was still working. So let's go ahead and set our startup project to the Maui one and run it. Oh yeah, I do too. It's just that you were saying that I would like to do this thing. And that's, I believe that ChatGPT would interpret that as here's how you can do it. So I will give you instructions on how to accomplish this thing, as opposed to telling it, please generate or please write a. Yeah, you can still be as polite as you want. As polite or non polite. It's an AI, it doesn't care. Or an AI. It's your intent just needs to be interpretable. Right. So this is a cores exception. I'm pretty sure that I fixed the cores issue in the WPF version. So I should be able to take the same code that I'm using for the WPF version and use it for at least when you're targeting Windows, the Maui project. And what about an Ig Nobel Prize? You're always playing with words, DC Aggie. I love it. Sorry, that wasn't DC Aggie. That was Marcus. I wasn't expecting that from you, Marcus. I was expecting that from DCA, obviously. No connection could be made because the target machine actively refused it. I could have sworn that I told this thing to allow cores from 0000. Did I not? No, I don't have it in here at all. Um, yeah, it's called allow cores, right? I don't even have the package for it. How do I not have the package for that? Enable cores. I still don't have it. Hmm. I don't want to mess with that. That's not what we're currently focused on, and I was going to go down that rabbit hole. But I know that I've done it before where I've turned on enable cores for a WPF application that uses the Blazor MAUI, or sorry, the Blazor component library and a HTTP client to, because I'm doing it in the wrong place. Here. And the API is where you do the enable cores. Use cores, even. Interesting. And I'm allowing 0000 and it's still denying it. That's really odd. You show me the full details, please. No connection could be made. No connection could be made. Socket refused. Do we have information about the request itself? I don't think so. Stack trace. At wait, what? Excuse me, where are you happening in my code? Here, in main. What? Maybe the inner exception is happening elsewhere. Let's try this one first. Here. Okay. Transaction state line 46. Ooh. Thank you so much for that bit of information, Xjob. Xjob says the set of reachable states in the non-deterministic finite automation after processing a prefix of the input, which is a subset of the whole state space, can be represented by an integer if the total number of states does not exceed the word size. I would have to think about that to find out if there's a breaking case. Like, you're sure it can be represented by an integer? Not specifically an unsigned integer? Oh, if the total number of states does not exceed the word size. Okay. Then yes. So therefore, it is not. Yeah, that makes sense-ish. I still can't fully think through it myself, but intuitively it makes sense. I wouldn't be able to tell you why is what I'm trying to say. Line 48 is where it's doing the actual request.
It's over 9,000!
Yes, you are absolutely right. But no more than 2,496,000 int max. Okay, but yeah, it's when it's doing this HTTP request using the HTTP client, because we are in the WASM. We're not in WASM. We are on a client side that's using a HTTP request. Not that one. Oh, wait, that was the right one. To the controller to get the information. And for some reason, we aren't running on 0000, and that sounds wrong. We are running on 0000. So why would the API be angry at a request that's coming to it from 0000 when I told it that it's allowed to get requests from 0000? Am I doing the request to the right endpoint? What is your... Oh, duh. Because the... No, it's even more simple than that, Marcus. The API isn't even running at the moment. Oh my goodness, this kid. Of course it's going to be rejected forcefully when there's nothing even listening. What is wrong with this kid? What is this? What is he? What? The API needs to run? What is this? A school for ants? Okay, let's try this again. This time, don't suck. There it goes. And everything is working as it should. Oh my gosh. Such fail. Very yes. And I don't know if you heard that, but I just banged my teeth against the bottle. Ow. Don't suck. Good advice. Do it again. This time, don't suck. I didn't quite catch it. Could you do it again? No thanks. Once was enough. Get it on the replay. Yes, so we are working on the account UI for adding a new account. I'm just going to make it a button here for now and put it inside of a modal, but it's going to be the same UI that we have if we have a different maintenance screen entirely. Like maybe we have a menu across the left or across the top or something that allows you to go into manage and then you say add a new account, add new lookup items, manage lookup item list or whatever. We could have an entirely different page that is dedicated to just that, as well as the inline. Click a plus sign, gives you a modal, you type in the name of the payee, select some options for it, click a plus sign for the account, and then you put the initial amount, open date, and then that'll be your transaction that will get automatically added as starting balance. Kind of thing. Kind of situation there. You know. So let's put a plus sign here and create a modal. Modal. And because we're going to be putting it in all of these, we're probably going to have a new component that's going to be a lookup list selector component that will come with the items for the dropdown as well as the plus sign that gives you the dialog for adding and deleting stuff. Good idea. Glad you thought of it. That would be in, for now, let's just start with the payment data entry. You're welcome. I needed big cheese with that Dukasoft. Big cheese. Not shared components. Blazor UI. Components, data entry, payment, data entry, payment entry, payment entry. And then here is our account lookup list, which is an input select. That's going to be really fun to turn into a component. See, it even has a validation message that I hooked up. Oh, wait. All of the validation messages are for posted. No, just those two. That would be why we didn't see account validation. When I tried to submit the previous payment without an account selected, I have it displaying the validation message for the wrong thing. Had it displaying the. We'll see if that works or not. That happens when you do copy pasta. So true. So true. Guilty. Okay. So udare is going to now be a div. And this is essentially what we're going to turn into the component. That's why I'm wrapping it in a div. And then a button type button. A dare. I don't know if I can do dares. I'm afraid of dares. And let's just do the ASCII plus sign. Not ASCII plus sign, but HTML encoded plus. O plus for now. Right, and that's going to keep happening if I leave the WPF one running. I don't want that. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I don't want that. We'll stick to our web technologies, please, and thank you. Okay, so we now have a plus sign next to our account, a coconut. Did I end up keeping Bootstrap? No, I did not. Dang it. So I'm always talking about how much I don't like fighting against CSS frameworks, but when you're trying to just quickly put something together, I can't really use Font Awesome either. I mean, we could, but when you're just trying to sketch a thing out, it's nice to have a CSS framework that will make it at least look decent. I didn't want to fight with it, but lately I've been wanting to just rely on CSS frameworks more and more. It's kind of difficult with my current day job where they have a style guide essentially. So it's like, well, maybe you guys can just, give us a CSS framework that follows that style guide and give us some classes that we can just slap in there. And they have one, but it's Angular and React. And I don't know what that means as far as being able to just grab the CSS from those. But like the only way that their instructions say you can use it is by doing whatever the commands are for pulling in a library into your React project. Oh, Dindle says, I like Bootstrap. I'd like to try something else, so I looked at Tailwind. Try looking at Material UI. Well, again, Material UI is specifically React, but I'm pretty sure that there is a CSS framework that's just following Material. So material design is the design principle behind what CSS frameworks should look like. there's materialize. That's one I was thinking of. And then material UI. So maybe try materialize. Is pretty good. Is pretty good, from my opinion. And I believe that there's also a Blazor material library out there somewhere. Marcus says, I use a mix of direct CSS on Bootstrap and Bootstrap. I had to read it the way that you typed it, so people wouldn't get confused. Material is either Android or Windows. No, it's just a CSS. So Material is a design guideline that says this is how buttons should look. This is how cards should look. Should use white space. It's everything that gives you the instructions for how to put UI together. Materialize and Material UI are the CSS frameworks for doing that. Material lies. Immaterial lies. All the lies are yours forever. So let's make a quick roll. Since we're talking CSS. SAS. Global. Dot. Currency. Display. I don't know what to call it. I'm terrible at this. Text align. Right. And actually what I should do is display, oh, this is going to break tables though. Display flex. And then justify content flex and justify items flex in. No, content. Content is what I meant. And that way in our transaction history grid, did I break something? I didn't break anything. What are you angry about? Where was I? I was looking for transaction history grid row or something like that. Base transaction row. I always forget what I called this thing. Total class currency display. And what I might need to do is just have it be a span inside of the TD if this ends up breaking the table. Yes, Dukasoft. Currency display, : before. Content, Dukasoft's money. Only when it's positive. Only when it's in the positive. Oh no, it moved it to the end. That's good. So that's exactly where I wanted it. There's still, styling that it could use, such as in some padding, maybe column gap for the table kind of stuff. But yeah, so this way, if we go into direction RTL, then it will still stay moved to flex end. I don't know how it's supposed to appear in other countries, but in right to left languages, but it does stay towards the end of the column, and that's really what I'm looking to do. Okay, so there's that. There is the ones in the account summary. Why am I doing UI stuff when I said It's because, like, for some reason, I'm dreading doing the lookup list maintenance. And I don't really know why. It's not a hard thing to do. Ooh, how am I going to do that? This is going to work fine for the adjusted balance. Why do you keep breaking? What am I doing wrong? Custom navigation log does not exist in underscore imports.razor. But it does exist. It's components. It does exist. Oh, here it is. It's called an edit form navigation lock, which is in custom navigation lock components namespace. You should not be angry at that. Underscore imports.razor. We're not using it currently. I could just get rid of it for now, and then you'll stop complaining. But we're gonna need it. You query the content in CSS. Yes, yes, you can. Or wait, no, because content is a CSS property, you cannot. Hey, I got it. Sorry, I was talking about an email that I just received. Oh, finally. Yeah. Okay, we don't need that open anymore. We don't need this open. We already added the class to this, and we're just going to see if this thing broke. But the right aligned currencies in left to right languages is going to work for the adjusted balance. But what happens when we have a pending transaction, such as in this one here, and we try to get this thing to line up? Maybe what I can do is, for account summary in a specific, I can have the display be a grid with 2 rows that are both, yeah, we will need the currency symbol eventually. I'm just trying to figure out what the best way to do that is. But the currency symbol will be on the far left, unless there is a language or locale where the currency symbol appears on the right, such as yuan's, I think. It kind of looks like it comes before. But yeah, that's going to require a little bit more research to figure out which side of the number does the currency appear. I'm sure we're going to be able to use number formatting, and it'll automatically adjust to your locale. Like we could just put to string currency, something like this. Why in the world do you keep doing that? Global Usings Now is complaining about it. Can I pay in bananas? I don't think you get many bananas for your currency. Maybe peanuts. I used to get paid in peanuts. Yeah. So if we did just use toString $, it should use current culture. The problem is that I'm going to want the app to allow you to specify what currency you want each individual account to be tracked as. So maybe you have a Swiss account that you want to track as whatever types of currency are used in Switzerland. And everything else you want in US dollars or Canadian dollars or Australian dollars or Great British Sterling, pound, whatever. Swiss franc or is it euro? I have no idea. I know very little about European money currently. It's all muddy now for me, especially with the introduction of the euro. What countries use the euro, what countries don't. What countries are like, you know what, just leave my money alone. Okay. Anyway, so we did see that we can use toString if we wanted to show the currency in the current globalization locale. Then no, I'm European and I still don't know. Yeah. I approve of Zelda being used. Replace $sign with Zelda. Anyway, so yes, we're going to pick up on this. I know I was stalling. I know I was procrastinating because I didn't want to get too far into this. But on Wednesday, we will pick up on this effort to add the UI for being able to add a new account, edit an existing account, which includes closing the account out. I'm pretty sure the edit window is going to be the same one used to close it out. Maybe not. I don't know. But closing out an account will have the UI for doing a transfer or payment. So if you're closing an account, you're either moving money from your whatever that account is to some other account, or you are paying that money out to some external account that is not tracked by the application. You put nose as in the word no instead of nose, because like stalling airplane nosedive. I like the nose. Go nose. Nose. Anyway, I'm gonna go to this screen now. Thank you all for joining me today. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves as well. I have no idea who I am currently lurking on. I'm lurking on Red Cabin Games, who I'm always watching whenever he's live. And we rated him not too long ago. And then most recently we rated Setlix, which does need an edit. Oh my goodness, yes. But I think it's to help mods. I don't know for sure. My assumption is that it's to help mods. Oh, actually, most recently we rated Solus Ellipsis, and then before that, Setlix. And Red Cabin Games just before that. So let's go to. I bet you we did Code Rad Games just before that, too. It's just that they're the same people that stream around this time. Nope, we did Clayman before that. Okay, so we're going to go to Code Red Games, who I will now actively be lurking on. I wasn't lurking on his channel just yet. But he's working on a game called Roguelite, which is a roguelite. Roguelike. Souls-like game. Code Red Games. And if you are okay with watching game developers, he is a Unity game developer, so stick around. He seems to be working on a new mob. Ugh, creepy mob. So it'll be fun. Most recently, he made a mimic, and that was a lot of fun. But this one looks super creepy. Bleh. Bleh. Straight out of nightmares. As Dukasoft posted, I will be putting this video up on YouTube no sooner than 24 hours after I end the stream. And I'll be back again on Wednesday. I know you can't really see my messages because my stuff is all over the place. I'll be back on Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time, Mountain Standard, whatever we're in, UTC -6 Mountain Time. And we'll finish up the account and rest of the lookup list edit functionality. And yeah, that should be cool. I hope to see you all again the next time you're around. And that's it. This is all I got. Ciao for now. Tschüss. Bye.